So, this is it. We're actually doing this.
Hello.
Hello. We are actually live, and actually us and another 7 more. So, just as a quick check, is everything okay? Can you hear us? Thank you, Zenkaya, for the wishes. Well, everything on my end seems to be going well. So, we actually did it. So, hello. Hello and welcome, as we say in most of our podcasts anyway.
In our podcast that we've heard a million times, hello and welcome.
Yeah. So, actually, Raya was going off a very nice point of like how to step into an introduction. So some of you know us, some of you know me only, maybe, and some of you know just Raya. And some of us you know us from different capacities, as friends or colleagues. And we invited anyone we could actually for this one, and 2 more speakers. So, how would you like to go with that?
Well, we can start with why we're here and what we're going to be doing today.
Oh yeah.
Just a side thank you to start off with, because we have a moderator in our chat. You can see her with green sword, Zenkai, or Nora, and she is helping us out today. Thank you so much, Nora.
And she's not afraid to use that green sword of moderation.
Yeah. We've put in some rules in the Twitch channel overall, but I think they're all very common sense. We just want to have a good safe space that we don't... we don't do anything to harm others.
Mostly like respect the space in both speaking and writing, and don't use hate speech. I think most of the common things that that you would expect from us and we can expect from you too. And of course, spam or advertisements. We're not that level yet, but yeah, we would like it if there wasn't any spams for all of us actually. Yeah. And so, as we were saying, getting to know each other better, since we're coworkers. We also, to be honest, I've known you for like since we were in not high school, and just after high school in college.
Yeah.
So we thought of a very interesting way.
Very interesting.
Very interactive. That I describe you and like introducing you, and then you do the reverse for me.
Sounds good.
Okay. So I have it in my notes, by the way. I doodle a lot. This is something I do. So one minor announcement is that we do have 2 guest speakers coming in 22 minutes from now. I will be spamming with occasional 10-minute reminders. I will show some of the doodles. Some of them are here already. These are past doodles. I don't think you can see
there
them.
it is. Yeah.
Yep. Geometric shapes, they just help me with the flow of my mind most of the times. So
just to finish your thought, we're having 2 guests. Katja, who's from Slovenia, she's from MCC, the Cele Youth Center. Hi, we have a new follower.
Yay.
Hello, Denny.
Hey, Denny.
But Katja is from Cele. She's a youth worker for a long time, and their youth center is amazing. It was one of my personal inspirations for what a youth center should be like. So I'm very excited to talk to her about youth work. And also Kadri. Kadri is from Community, from Austria. They also have a bunch of youth centers in small towns in the north of Austria. Northeast, yes.
Yeah.
But they're wonderful organizations, and they do a lot of very cool things. So I'll be excited to hear from both of them why they are youth workers and what do we do here.
And the funny thing is that we did actually meet them recently for a project meeting, and I think we discussed there the first time.
Yeah.
Sorry for the rattling noise. Actually, one question I thought that many people would ask, and like since it's the first episode, first show, first anything, why Twitch? Like, why did we choose this platform? Hey Janica. Janica also is our we should say, shouldn't
Yes, for sure. She's our intern in the future now. She's been so lovely in everything she does, with a lot of passion, with a lot of precision.
And she had also some activities that, Janica had some activities that planned out for Twitch as well.
Yeah.
Which she shared. So thank you for that. So as I was saying, why Twitch? I usually find myself asking these kind of questions. I start something and then I ask myself midway through it or even towards the end, why? Just to like make sure that
it's good that it's not in the end. Like, why did I do that?
yeah. Now, why did I do that? Why did we choose this? And why are we like showing? Like, why are we willing to go to this extra step? And actually, it was quite an interesting conversation I had with myself. at
Please
first.
walk us through it.
So before introducing ourselves and just easing up to it, why Twitch and why us on Twitch? Why a youth NGO on Twitch? It really boiled down to our target group, our demographic. All of you, they're watching, they're not many at this time, but hopefully the ones we do want to engage. So I was thinking, okay, we have speakers, we have topics, and why don't we make YouTube videos? Like today's topic, I thought, okay, why didn't someone would say make a YouTube video for it? Like, that's not it, just it's the process. Hey, we have a new follower too.
Hello, new follower.
Hello, thank you. So we're discussing why Twitch, and it is the target group. It is you, and the fact is, it allows, the way I seen it advertised to us at least, it allows us to do anything and build a community like we're just saying here, and even if it's just the few and loyal, or the random ones that happen to stumble upon. I think it's one of the coolest ways of not just disseminating information and our activities, but engaging with people.
Mm-hmm. And why, to your question, why Twitch and not YouTube? Because here we can have this live conversation. Here we can see your questions or your comments, and we can actually have a conversation.
Yeah, and that's really what we do. And actually, that's another thing. When we record videos, it has to be to the point, and from point A to B, or every second is accounted for. And
whereas here,
we don't care. As long as you're watching, we can talk. And that was another thing. Actually, when I was thinking on why Twitch and why we should do this, is a lot of good things happen from just like talking and jumping off from one point to another, and jumping off from a point that one of you might address, or one of the speakers. So I was just thinking of it, and this was a personal, let's say, thought I had, because I felt encouraged, to be honest. Yeah, because it was a very stressful getting into this. So I wanted to probably yes, and we're trying to figure out the format, because we're gonna have sometimes the question is, are we going to upload the streams? Probably yes, and especially the ones where we have segments of speakers or a presentation on some kind of topic or event. That one would I'm considering at the moment to make it into a separate clip, and of course the whole stream itself, because why not watch ourselves again and learn from them and get feedback from all of you, and those who join in late, of course.
Yeah. And also, we know that not everyone will be available during this time, and maybe they are interested in hearing Katya and Kadri, for example, as it will be today, or maybe if there is someone else that they would like to hear later on in our streams. It's not a one and done in this case, but they will be able to hear them in a clip. Yeah. So I agree with that.
I also agree with that, even though it's just a row. See, this is another thing too. We are very inexperienced. We're just like visionaries, thinking that okay, this could be cool. Let's see how it goes. Oh, Mihai.
Hi, Mihai.
Hi,
nice
Mihai.
to see you.
No questions for now. Okay. Mihai actually is also another person that we co-work with, where we collaborate on a number of projects, and we're actually really happy to see him now. with us.
Yeah.
So
I think we should get to the introductions because in 15 minutes we have guests over.
Yeah, imagine. Just a simple thought I had that took us 10 minutes.
So this is why Twitch and not YouTube, because like the videos would be 5 hours long.
It's primarily my fault, to be honest. Okay, so the point was to get people to, as we were saying, you either know both of us as in part of TFN, or you know us individually because we invited you individually, or you don't know us at all. So for that, to have a common denominator is to introduce you the way I had, the way I met you, actually, and we progressed.
Please.
So Raya, every good conversation starts like Raya. So I met Raya as a very vocal and active university student, as either the class president you were, or part of any other activities we had there, and all your projects regarding, like when we had coursework at university, they were very well written. So from the first time Raya exhibits signs of literacy, which I think I appreciated a lot, and that innovative mind, the entrepreneurial mind.
Just to reciprocate, you were also literate.
I am literate to some standard. And so I met you, and the first impressions you would get is a very innovative and active person. So Raya's let's say interests are in entrepreneurship, innovation, social equality, philosophy to some extent, I might say. And this was as university, and now as my boss in TFN, as I like to tease, because we were from colleagues, let's say, of university to now co-workers. Now Raya is interested in all forms of active citizenship, of how may I say it, of proper representation, of breaking social norms and stereotypes. Person of the year every year. Your interests are varied and diverse. This is not a political channel, by the way.
This is how I became class president.
Yeah, without even me contending. And very creative person. And so Raya is the one of the members of the management boards and the youth project manager, in which TFN, now introducing TFN. TFN is a youth NGO, and Raya is the youth projects manager. We do have other people working the same that are members of the management board. As Rossi will also join in, hopefully some other time, or maybe she's even watching now. We have also a chief technological officer with us as well, and interns, and it's an ever-expanding organization, I might
We also
say.
have even some volunteers like Nora.
We do.
We worked with her on another project. She's been volunteering here and there for us, and thank you so much for that. We appreciate your expertise.
And I think I'm, like, as employee-wise, I'm the youngest member. Yep, the youngest member here, so this is why this is part of my job, introducing TFN. And I'm pretty sure I haven't covered everything that is to you, about you, but regarding TFN itself, and this is something we're going to address. I think you should talk about TFN, because you were actually the person, and not just member of the management board, because that's a title only, but you were also one of the people that started it.
Yeah.
So how about that? How did you start that? Why?
We started TFN, The Future Now. We started in the early 2020, just in time to not get an office because COVID started existing, and we thought, not now, and we're still in the not now process. But one day we started TFN with the big, hey, here's Rosalia in the chat, our colleague. We started TFN with the idea that we want to help young people and to create useful things that are made with a lot of desire and with a lot of happiness for youth workers, for young people to improve their lives somehow. So some of them are more educational, some of them are more about, for example, relationships or gender equality or prevention of violence, all kinds of things with the hope of making the lives better for young people, however we can. And to reply to the Go Frantic question for introducing you, I will in a second.
I rather not.
But the other one for the end goal of the organization, I don't know if we have an end goal per se.
Global domination, is that was
World peace.
Yeah.
But the dream, at least for me, is to have a youth center, a physical one. But for now, this is kind of a big step, I think, in that direction, having a digital youth center. So what we want to do with this channel on a global level, yes, world peace via domination. That's the end goal. But the bigger goal of this channel is to have kind of like an online youth center, to have a good space with the Go Frantic is here just to see you.
Yeah, that's why for the introduction.
Yeah.
No, but sorry, you were already on a roll of
TFN.
Of TFN and optimism in a time where it's pretty dark.
Yeah, sometimes actually TFN has been the thing that has been giving me a lot of optimism and a lot of drive to continue on. So. And
this was also part of why Twitch and not a YouTube channel, because we wanted not just to create because primarily what TFN does, and please do correct me if I'm wrong or when I'm wrong, is that we do a lot of the production of material that is then disseminated to a specific group of people that we have selected. But
that sounded very cryptic.
That sounded very cryptic.
It's materials that youth workers use to work with young people.
Thank you. See, I told you. But we didn't want just to be that. We wanted as a youth NGO to do youth activities. And this is also... I'm just keep reaffirming our decision for Twitch, because it's something this is something that it's not budgeted in any way. It's not an obligation we have towards anyone but ourselves, and I personally don't see it as an obligation. And this is something I just wanted to refer to, that this is something we like to do, and I mean, we like to do all of our jobs, slip of the tongue. No, I mean, this is something that we have a complete reign on, and that we can...
If left unchecked, you will continue this thought for the next 15
minutes. I will continue this thought.
So I'll put with the obligation to introduce you, because we only have 7 minutes and then we have some guests.
As you see, my devious plan... My devious plan was to eat up as much as time there is possible.
No.
Just one last thing about TFN. We do a lot of diverse things. So this is why we wanted this platform, because there are chances that you will see us playing games. There are going to be events that we're going to target, the international days of major events, and talk about them as well. And we love talking to people, and we love having people to talk to, and this is actually a really good way of doing it. So if you probably noticed that we are on a Google Meet screen, and we're waiting in 6 minutes to get speakers. This won't be the format, as we said. We're gonna change it as we are going along. So for now, we're on Google Meet and waiting for 2 speakers.
I don't know how much longer you can prolong. I'm trying to
go
say
on.
Something. So I also met them in university.
Okay.
But aside from being literate, he was also the one with the most out-of-the-box ideas. Definitely, for sure. He was the one who made a presentation, an official presentation the first time we met. It was about condoms, wasn't it?
It was a sustainability project on condoms, yes.
Yeah. So he
No, that will be for the next time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will have that as a note. Thank you, though.
Please don't join in our Google Meet. We won't let you in right now.
Yeah. That was actually one of the things we were going to see. I can steal time. Thank you. They
No worries.
they were actually, the research was done in 2015.
So we'll talk about that another time. So from sustainability condoms, we met and I noticed that he also has out-of-the-box ideas for everything else. But still we were studying business, so I didn't expect some years later when we met again that he will be working in a refugee camp. Because most of our other colleagues were working in business, they were working in offices, they were working in finance and accounting, and then Ali works in a refugee camp. So
Yeah.
we started talking about my work, about his work, and I was trying to convince him that what he is doing is already youth work.
Yeah, I couldn't, for the love of me. Should I expand on this and why I thought
Please
that
don't.
he shouldn't? Okay, I'm sorry.
But Ali was a community engagement...
Community
mobilizer.
mobilizer.
Sorry.
Oh,
Community
God. Yeah, that's
mobilizer
been a long
in in a refugee camp in Greece. And he was doing so much communication, so many implementation of ideas, of trainings, listening to people, helping out with all kinds of problems. And I don't mean to say that I recruited you out of the refugee camp, but the refugee camp closed. And then his job became a lot more not related to community engagement as he would have liked it. So here he is now.
Community engagement.
Community engaging.
Actually, can I add one more thing about Twitch that I thought... I'm not even... I think that's it. I think they'll like meet us more. Like if you want to know more,
You just don't want to be introduced anymore.
No. I like giving myself in like snippets of like in discussions.
Okay.
I want to talk about Twitch, not about the ads. Because we were working on a project that because this is very informal as well. We are past the work hours in the office doing this. So we were thinking of how to disseminate better activities and how to engage better with the community. And Twitch was like one of those things listed. And we were like, okay, let's do that.
The clear divergence from anything else is amazing.
I think, okay, so I worked at the refugee camp and then you recruited me and that's it.
Yes, I was just going to praise you. That over Ali's head actually is our list of active projects.
It's called hair.
Over there, on top of the hair. So Ali came in with, because I mentioned the ideas in the beginning, I wanted to wrap up with the ideas in the end. So from sustainability condoms, when I met him, he joined in TFN with, we were trying to come up with ideas for new proposals, for new projects in Erasmus, and he came up with 4 ideas, and all 4 of them are now projects that we're working on.
Yeah, actually,
So
sorry to interrupt, but like one of them is with, one of the ones that were approved is with Katya.
With Katya, yes.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So he's been a wonderful addition to TFN. Also, all of the technical skills needed to set up the Twitch, none of them were mine. I have no contribution.
Not yet. And a lot of things did change. But yeah, thank you. I mean, we are testing it still, though. You have 1 minute, by the way, if they're punctual. Yeah, the board is actually one of my favorite pieces in the office because it does show us as a reminder to the people also. Did you ever think of that? when I'm on a call with the partners, they're like looking at the board of achievements over there. Yeah. But I think that's pretty much it. I don't think I need any more introduction.
You've been introduced well enough.
I just want to say I'm very fascinated with Twitch. Did you know? And also, one side, small note, we are going to launch a Discord server. So we are we are looking forward to build a community on there as well. And I think most of our viewers would also like to be part of it, I suppose, and promoting it too. Okay.
I don't know what your point was.
No,
but
I was
yes.
gonna go on a rant about Discord, but yeah, that was it.
Okay.
And do you remember that question I asked today during that call regarding what was it about? Oh, the how are you? Remember?
Yeah.
So, Raya, how are you?
Stressed.
Stressed. In one word, stressed.
We actually wanted to ask not just how are you, but also ask in the chat, how has your day been in one word?
Day or week? You could,
If you can summarize your whole week, first
Yeah.
say week and then tell us, because that would be more impressive for sure. I don't know how to summarize my week. It's been
Strenuous.
so much.
That's my week. You can get another word. How would you rate your week? Boring.
Says Haley. So much sometimes feels like one word. So much.
You got moderated. Exciting. Yes, Rossi.
Spending spree is also 2 words.
What is the word for like spending spree?
Lavish.
Lavish, exactly. Okay, lavish.
Too much. Yes, my week has been too much indeed.
Yeah, I could say that. So, no, honestly, how is your week? We have people giving honest advice.
That's another word for lavish, yes.
Okay. Eventless. Okay, those are actually something I wish to have. Full. I can understand Mihai saying full. Full of adventures, I'm sure. Cathartic.
Good.
There is no yeah, a lot in this week.
Encanto, I heard, was a source for some emotions. If someone hasn't seen Encanto yet, they should definitely. It's yes.
Cathartic.
Dimitar wins $10 for the $10 word.
To be honest. To be honest, though, cathartic is some boring, eventless, or cathartic is something I would honestly wish to have sometimes. We don't. This is also another reason why we like Twitch and why we started it, is that our schedule was most of the time work, and a lot of work, which is nice to some extent, but then you want to do something for yourself, and here we are.
Yeah. We actually have Kadri and Katya in the call, but they can't join for a second, so I'll try also joining. And
if there is a technical issue with it.
Sorry, this is the worst. Sorry for the sound. That was entirely my bad. I am so sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry for the sound. We're still dealing with the technical issues.
But yes, we're happy to welcome our wonderful guest. We've hyped you up so much.
Oh my god. No pressure, Patty, no pressure.
No pressure at all, but we have said that you're the most wonderful guests and wonderful experienced youth workers. But we would be happy if you also introduce yourself with a few words, if you want to start off.
Yeah, starting from Katya, actually, because it's in the screen, she's right there.
Hello. Center in Celle. I'm a youth worker for the past 5 years, mainly working on international projects, but also the general program that we offer within the youth center. And I'm a sports enthusiast, and you can ask whatever if there are questions later on.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, there was a small technical issue regarding the sound again.
This time less so much sound and more of a no sound at all. But
yeah.
Oh,
I think we
Do-
fixed it now.
I think we fixed
you-
it. Our audience
Okay.
is saying it's okay for now.
okay, good.
So sports questions, youth questions, all Katya's way.
Yes,
Katya,
why not?
you went sporting today, didn't you?
Yes, I did. In the morning, I went skiing. So that is one of the benefits of maybe youth work. You know, you can stick with some of your scheduling.
True. Kadri?
Yes,
Thank
hi.
you.
I'm
Thank you
also
for
very
being
excited to be here. Congratulations on launching your Twitch channel.
Thank you.
Thank you for being part of it.
Yeah, just a short introduction from me. I'm also actually in youth work since 5 years at community in Austria, and I'm working on sharing my full-time job between youth information. I'm a youth information office worker and also managing international projects in the European Solidarity Corps and in Erasmus Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, very short introduction.
How was your day, Kadri? Did you go skiing?
No, as a youth information office worker, I'm pretty much stuck in the office. But yesterday I had a fun day. We had an online workshop in a school where 200 people attended since they gathered like different classes, and we held a workshop simultaneously in different classes.
Nice. What was
It's
the
not so usual to reach so many at one workshop.
Nice. What was the topic?
It was on safer internet because now we have a whole month where we deal with this topic. Maybe YouTube, since it's like a whole European-wide thing, a campaign.
Yeah. Cool.
Great. We started with a question just actually a couple of minutes ago. It was supposed to be our introductory question, but we said it quite towards the end. How would you, in one word or 2 words connected, how would you describe your week?
Okay.
I know, it would be very busy. Or just one word, busy.
Busy. Yeah.
I cannot use the same one.
I was faster.
I would say very diverse. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Our moderator Nora is also contributing because I said it was so much as a one word, and very busy also could be one word.
Yeah, I said strenuous. It was just a lot of things. I wouldn't say bad things or necessarily really good things, but just a lot of tasks and things to think about.
A lot of things.
A lot of things.
And there's still tomorrow. I would just like to remind everyone that it's Thursday.
Exactly. I just lose the dates, to be honest. I just say the 10th. Our audience so far, just to have like an overview of what other people have been experiencing. So some people say cathartic after all the crying, relating with that. Lavish. Some people had a really nice spending spree. Exciting from Rosalia, since you know her from TFN.
Yeah.
So much has been so far the most common, actually, the one to use. Yeah.
That is good because it's a positive word.
Yeah. Much.
Yeah, and we have actually a first question. If you would like to answer it, we did discuss previously and generally what we'd be talking about on youth work, and this question is from Nora. What was your favorite project that you have worked on? This is an impromptu. If you have something on the top of your mind, you can say now. Otherwise, if you want, we can think about it a bit later.
No, I'm good to go. I have to actually.
Okay.
They say that you never forget the first, you know. In my case, it is my first ever project that I wrote, and then I actually implemented. It was a youth exchange, and it was 5 years ago. I think I was in the office or the youth center for about a month, and they say write it and do it. Okay. So, you know, as an overachiever that I am, I put really a lot of work into it. So it was, for my thoughts back then, very well written. So it was approved. And I put a lot of work into the content and the participants and how they feel and, you know, what will they get out of it and what's the point of making a youth exchange, etc., etc. So I'm really happy about that one, the youth exchange. And not to brag, we did get a national award for that one.
Wow.
Congrats.
Okay, so
I
that's
mean,
my fault.
yeah.
Never got anything else. You know, that happened for the next 5 years. And the current one also, I have one, and it's Erasmus Sport. But it's also because the group that I'm working with, or the target group that is involved in this project, are people with disabilities. So that is something that's close to me, except, of course, sport again on one side, and then actually working with people that benefit from the things that we do, from the activities and from everything that we can offer through the project. And those two are like my favorites. So yes, I do play favorites.
Okay, they mean it seems that they mean a lot to you, and especially the last one you talked about, Erasmus sport with people with disabilities. Just as a curiosity, like what kind of outcomes do you produce for that? Like what is something that the people with disabilities will
Yeah.
yeah.
So again, you know, you will learn. I'm an overachiever. So usually in projects, sometimes, or mainly a lot of times, we produce playbooks or hand material or toolkits, whatever you want to name something, a project result. That is usually activities. So within this one that we are doing, we are developing activities for 3 target groups. So sport activities for the visually impaired, for physically impaired, and for people with mental disabilities. So we're developing sport activities, you know, for them so they can still be active and engaged. And the overachiever part comes when I wrote that we're going to do that playbook in Braille. So that is something I need to learn, how to transform the written word into Braille. That is something that's challenging, and I look forward to learning how to do that. So I'm really happy that it has, you know, something in concrete, because it makes no sense that we develop activities for the visually impaired if they cannot read the activities.
Yeah. No,
I'm
that's
super excited.
pretty inspiring.
Yeah. And the other part is that is just like the physical output of a project. But the other part is that we have local activities in all the partner countries that are involved. And we have 5 of them already in Slovenia. And we actually adapted and reconstructed a playground for people with disability, physical and mental disability. So, you know, we get money for the project, for something that we want to achieve. And I'm so grateful that this project has the ability to have something for the, you know, end user to have. So we adapted the playground, bought new stuff, painted, etc. And it was really lovely. And they helped, contributed. And then we had the basketball game. It was really lovely. It was really, you know, the one you got a teary eye from it. So
Sounds
Yeah.
the
amazing.
local activities, yeah.
And when will that project end, or until when is it supposed to last?
End of this year. So
Okay.
it's coming to an end pretty soon. We're still going to have a few of local activities, but within September, because it's also European Sport Week.
Mm-hmm.
So that is our target, you know. Also raising awareness that sport is for everybody. You know, we want to be inclusive for everybody, and that's something that we want to aspire and, you know, put into front people with disability are the same as everybody else and want to be included in activities that we do.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Our moderator Nora wrote in the chat that the playbook sounds like an amazing resource.
Yeah.
Hopefully. It's not done yet, but it's getting there, and yeah, let's see.
Good.
How about you, Kadri? What were your, if you have favorite projects or a favorite
Of course,
project?
of course. I'm similar to Katja actually. I'm really fond of a project where I can see like the effect and what the meaning to the participants. And for me, it's the volunteering project in community. We are hosting a European volunteer every year, a long-term volunteer for 12 months. And I've been coordinating these projects for, I think, 4 years. And for me, it's especially nice to see as a mentor also for the volunteers, to see how they come at the beginning of the project, what kind of visions they have or what kind of expectations they have for the volunteering year. And then throughout the year, how they develop, how they get to see youth work, how they understand it, because it's also one interesting part for me, receiving volunteers like in the last years from Hungary, from Bulgaria also, and from Italy, to see what kind of concept they have of youth work, which is not really always the same. They come to Austria and they see the open youth work centers that we run in community, which is more like a relaxed place for youngsters to get together and just play. And sometimes the volunteers expect that we'll do much more workshops and kind of coordinated projects and offers, which here is often not the case, or just we support more youngsters to bring up their own ideas, or sometimes they just want to chill out. So it's no pressure to do something like educational all the time. So
What,
this is really nice for me.
out of curiosity, what is like the biggest misconception, like going to the part of youth work? I know we are steering off the the questions we had prepared from before, but since you're bringing it up, what is like the biggest misconception people have like starting youth work? Because you said they start off in the volunteering service having a let's say preconceived notion, exactly. Preconceived notion of what youth work is. Later some find out that it's not what they had expected. So what is the thing that changes the most? What have they misconcepted?
I don't think it's really like a misconception, but just like a different expectation. But of course, like a lot of volunteers, they come after finishing the gymnasium, or they're like really young with 18, 20 years, and they come straight from school. So they have very like strict view on education maybe sometimes. And like in youth work, informal education, learning by doing, like just this experiences that you can also realize, oh, this is a new competence that I learned just by doing. And then on reflecting, they can see, oh, this is also a way to learn, which is maybe not always realized by young people.
I understand.
Katja, have you met such
yeah.
misconceptions about youth work? Something that stuck out to you?
I mean, yeah, because youth work has youth word inside of it, so everybody thinks that for 8 to 10 hours a day we only interact with youth. No, not really. We do sometimes, and those days are the best. But there's also paper pushing, and project applications and administrations. So that is also part of youth work. So I think that is like sometimes that when youth comes or we talk about it, they say, "Oh yeah, but you also do this and that." I say, "Yeah." Just not engaging and teaching and learning with youth and doing activities with them or for them, however you want to call it. That's not all we do, but it's the most satisfactory part, for sure.
Yeah, I also had an idea even before I started that it was kind of separated. There was the administration part and the research part and the youth work part, and and it's usually, from what I've seen, uh, so rarely, if ever, like this, that there is a designated youth worker who only deals with youth people and nothing else, and they
yeah.
never touch bureaucracy, and they are just for the young people, but no.
Yeah, that's actually why a reason I actually love this job, to be a youth worker. The way that Raya showed it to me how it is, and when you mean showed me, show that having a varied set of skills is sometimes even required as a youth worker. Um,
There are a lot of hats as youth workers,
yeah.
right? In the moment you're a project manager and Excel is your worst enemy because you're doing your finances. The, the receipt is not coming in, and the next 5 minutes you're talking via Messenger or WhatsApp to a youth person who has an issue, and he's looking towards you for a guidance, etc. So it's quite a lot of emotions mixed in one day sometimes, for sure.
Mm,
Yeah.
it is.
We have another question from the audience. So,
It's not professional when you say the audience.
yes. Well, from Dement009. What is the most frustrating thing you encounter when you're working on a project? No frustration.
I know my frustration is always connected to technology.
Why?
In office work, when you're like concentrated on doing something and all of a sudden the internet connection blows away, or when the word is not cooperating with you in design matters. This is
Yeah.
the worst.
We rely on it a lot, to be honest. I can understand the frustration.
For me, maybe frustration comes when like people involved don't get each other, because maybe we could talk about the same topic or preparation of something, but we're still diverse, working in diverse local communities and with different young people or age groups or target groups, whatever. And sometimes it's hard, to combine everybody and their point of views and what we want to achieve into one full circle that makes sense. That's something that sometimes frustrates me. Either I don't get it, or I don't know how to, implement it, or, just we're just kind of connected maybe sometimes to also us, because youth workers always learn. So that is it's something that has to be said. We learn on a daily basis, and sometimes we encounter something that we don't know how to do or best do. And also, working with other youth workers in, I don't know, in different countries like we are, or something like that. And, we have different views on something or how something should be done. And that is for me, like, sometimes very frustrating for my part, because maybe I don't know how to, include, contribute, whatever. But it all works out in the end. Don't worry.
It's curious to me
This
that
is also one thing I like about youth work, that you're always like exploring new things and learning, and you can never like say, okay, now I know everything about youth work and I can like just now stay as an expert. But you're always learning. You start from the beginning, like also with in youth information work with we have materials of how to protect your personal data in all these different apps, and we are always like every year we almost have to make a new kind of information, because new apps have become popular. So we cannot just say, okay, now we've developed this concept and we can stay as it is for the next year also, like always doing and developing.
Hmm. On that topic, what is the skill, the trait, or something that you've learned that was the most challenging? Like, because we say about youth work. Also, for me, I found myself in a couple of months having to like learn by interest or sometimes by necessity. Like, I have to learn to do this now because it's required for this project, and I like it personally a lot to learn new skills and find out new things. It keeps you young, to be honest. What was something? Did you have something in mind that you learned and you were really, let's say, you're proud of or really happy for?
I mean, the necessity was that, since 2 years ago. You know, before that, we only knew youth work as face to face. It was not in this digital space, whatever. And 2 years ago, you know, with everything happening and lockdown and etc., we needed to adapt, right? And the only way to do it was like going digital. And everybody's like for the past 2 years talking about this digital youth work. And for me, it's like, really, I don't even use WhatsApp. You know, now there's Zoom going on and Discord and that, and I Twitch, you know, stuff like that. So somebody that's like not very, you know, technological. I'm a pen and paper person, you know, by heart. And yeah, this is another skill that we had to, you know, learn and going digital and not just using digital tools like where we are currently, but also when you have like activities or lectures or whatever as a youth worker, you know, you need to adapt the content because some it does not work. Not all of the activities and all the lectures work in the digital space like they did in physical space. So it was kind of like, you know, trial and error. You just had to, you know, let's see it. And then you got the feedback that was so boring and so bad. Okay, better.
Yeah, that's happened.
Yeah, so this digital thing was something that I really needed to, you know, learn and relearn, or how to say, I don't know, and refocus on stuff like that.
I totally agree also.
I knew you would. I knew you
For
would.
us, we kind of had like okay, this is like a necessity we had to do with online youth centers or online meetings, online workshops. But I think as Katja, you also said, some things just work online, some things work only on personal meetings. It's a totally different dynamic, and I think it's more like now the challenge to find the balance, because also there are good sides and maybe bad sides. I also heard from our youth workers from youth centers that in an online youth center they met people that usually don't come to a personal youth center, and they had great discussions there, and they had a feeling that they reached out. But at the same time, also a lot of the people who came to the youth center didn't find it attractive to meet online, and maybe also to share their picture, or they just are not so maybe also so competent to use all these digital tools. We have also, I think, a lot of the times people say that young people are all experts on digital media, which is not necessary like this. So also not to forget the people who are not so accustomed or so used to using this kind of tools.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is also something I've been seeing from a lot, even from our focus and from every NGOs. And actually, this is an example of trying to not to keep up in speed, but see how we can use existing tools such as this to enhance our youth work, and now in a digital form. And I think, not being pessimistic, but more of a I see this like an opportunity that we could even let's say when COVID hopefully sometime soon eventually dissipates, is gone, that these skills that we learn, these digital tools that we develop, are going to still be useful, because we people are going to be more reliant on technology and digital tools that we created, and as TFN in this channel we are going to also have as a goal to show to as many people as we can these tools and the things that people like you in your own projects and the projects that we collaborate with, how awesome and how many tools they are for people that are not just youth workers but also young people that would just like to be interested in educational games or learning a module through NFE. So I'm trying to see it from the it's an opportunity that we have this tools. Yeah, but it's difficult. Another question that was also from our audience was regarding your passion, the greatest passion you had to youth work, and I would like to steer it towards one of the questions we had prepared is how did you start youth work? Was it led somehow by a passion you had in that, or was it something you discovered later?
How did it go?
I actually got to youth work through volunteering. I'm from Estonia, and I ended my bachelor studies in literature and culture sciences in the university, and then was not sure if I want to follow my path in this way in the masters also. And I found a project in Austria in the very beautiful region of Tyrol between the mountains, which was really appealing to me. And it was actually in the association and community where I'm working now several years later.
Okay.
To do the volunteering project, and this was the way I got into youth work, and I liked it very much. And then I stayed connected to the community of volunteers that were here in the region. They were coordinated by the Infoec in Innsbruck, which is the capital here. And I volunteered after my service as a mentor for the new volunteers. So I stayed in contact in youth work, which for me, I think the most appealing part, what I liked the most, was the international connections and networking and learning to know new cultures, making friends. And I had a feeling that in youth work, especially in European projects, people were so outgoing, inviting, very optimistic, or at least I had this kind of impression, and I like this atmosphere very much. So I hope to one day to be able to move professionally in this direction, and I'm very happy that now I have the possibility to lead international projects also myself.
Yeah,
That's
that's so cool.
nice. That's a nice origin story.
Yes, we're learning things too. I didn't know about
Yeah.
about your origin story.
How
That's
about you,
good.
Katya?
Mine is also connected with travel, but in a different way. I was working, so I came to the youth center 5 years ago. So 6 years ago, I was working at a faculty, but working on a project. It was at that time was Jean Monnet program, right?
Yeah.
Totally green. I never had any ideas about EU projects. Nothing. So by chance, I got that job. It was also my first employment. You don't know what you're doing. Right? So came into there, and I had no idea what project management was. And I was like, oh shit, I need. Oh, sorry. I
ahead.
need. I need information. I need knowledge. I have to brush up on my skill because I don't know nothing. So, long behold, the youth center, now where I work, Sonia, who's now the director, had a workshop on project management. I was like, oh, okay. So I went there. So I was the participant of the workshop for project management and how to do it, learned it then and there. Worked for a year still on the faculty, changed jobs. So I was a curator in a museum. Everywhere. And then by chance, Sonia remembered me from the workshop, and she was like, "We're gonna have an opening. You wanna go? You wanna come and be a youth worker?" I was like, "What's that?" No idea.
Totally qualified.
Totally.
Very much. There's not a school for youth workers, right? It's a title, but then you learn by doing what it is actually. So her hook was, there's going to be a lot of travel. And I said, okay. That is how I got into youth work. And, but also from the other side, I remember because he said like a funny personal story. I'm a granddaughter of two teachers and a daughter of a professor. So like they say, education is in my blood. And when I started in youth work, I told my grandmother where I was working and what I was doing. Is like, I am a bit, upset that you're not a teacher, but youth worker is the good second best. So she's happy where I am because, sometimes you are in the, role as an educator, just in a different, non-formal one.
Yeah, she wants you to be a formal educator, not a non-formal one.
It's still got the approval.
Still approval.
Yes.
Yes. we are always searching for approvals from somebody. So,
For the European Commission, from grandma.
yeah, they are on the same level, right?
No, I think grandma comes first.
Abuelita.
So that was my coming into youth work.
Nice.
I think everyone has like a different origin story somehow. Like, how did you get into youth work?
Well, I also, like Katya, I didn't know exactly what I was getting into. My previous boss, who was my first boss, was also a lecturer in university, and she told me I need an assistant. You can also get involved in the foundation that I'm running if you want to, but that was like a side thing. I was like, okay, it's for first job. I need something. I didn't know what I was getting into at all. And then slowly, as time progressed, I kept on like spending more and more time on the projects instead of on being the assistant. And I told her at one point, like, I like this more. I want to focus more. And it was again Erasmus projects, European projects. And first I started with research, some project management, and youth work came kind of in the end. And I was like, oh, this is the thing that I like more. The interaction, the creation, the communication, everything related to it. So I also went and volunteered in a youth center, so I can see what that's like, what that means. And I've been craving to have one as well. A space, kind of like how Kadri was describing the youth center. Yeah, we have the seminars, we have the workshops and everything, but it's also a good place for people to go and have a space where they know it's a good space. They don't need to pay or anything to stay there. They can play, they can meet up with friends. It just sounds like a good place.
Yeah, sounds like something when I didn't know of youth centers when I was a youth. I didn't know if we had such things, like if I had access to such activities. I mean, there were youth centers, but very specific. They weren't as broad as the activities that I see now in other youth centers. So they were different. I can't see them like I see youth centers now. Yeah.
One of our
Bulgarian
friend says Читалище 2.0, which is kind of like our version of a
Community
library plus. Yes, community center. It's
Yeah. So exactly, it was that kind of it was non-formal education. It was I remember like the first thing I can say that resembled a youth center was near a library that had some activities in like after school hours. But we never had such cool things that we're like developing that, and I'm just saying what's around me and not what is in regional. When we visited, for instance, Virgo in community, then you explain to us how many actions happen, and it's amazing to see that people do have access to this now. Yeah. And
there are so many opportunities, and it's really good. I think it's really important.
I wish we had such a thing, such an open space that we could meet as we exchange, like from exchange culture activities, be part of something more, and yeah.
Well, it's never too late. Just go for it.
Well, I could go for an EVS now. To be honest, I am just at that point.
You're still in the age.
To be honest, it was weird because I co-facilitated my first youth exchange before ever participating in a youth exchange. And the funny part was that I had to go to a youth exchange a week after I had facilitated one. And so I had like the experience of both facilitating it and then being part of it. And to be honest, for me personally, I rather facilitated. I can see why participants have fun. I can see why. But now I'm like, no, it's okay. I can take up the facilitation part.
It's fun coming up with the tasks and coming up with all the materials and then having to see how you had an idea for something, especially when it's something that you ask creative of the participants. And you have an idea in your mind and then they create something completely different. And I love it. It's always so cool.
Surprise you, yeah. How people can be very creative, and the outcome can be so different than what you imagined, as a facilitator to be. And that is also the best part, because they still surprise you, with everything. You can imagine all the outcomes or the scenarios because you prepare for different scenarios when it comes, but they still surprise you in a very positive way of, how creative somebody can be in the content on whatever we are doing.
It is.
I have a little bit of a wrap-up question because we asked you for 45 minutes of your time, and if you want to hang out more, we can. But I want to ask you a wrap-up question for now, for this segment.
I don't even know that wrap-up question.
It's a surprise. So you both started youth work around the same time. If you could go back in time now and give advice to your younger self, the one that is just starting youth work, what would you advise yourself from the past?
Find balance and don't overthink something sometimes.
But you just said you're a perfectionist. How are you going to be a perfectionist and not overthink?
That's why she says it.
You can try. You can try. You can definitely try to do something.
Yeah, perfectionist and overachiever is good as a project management, but not so good as a youth worker. Those are not sometimes the same. So that's why you need to find balance and find out which hat you're wearing right now and enjoy that one. So if you're a youth worker, just go with the flow. Don't overthink it. Engage, be open, etc. Communicate and stuff like that. As a project manager, you have a different hat, so that comes another one. But I think balance is the most important one, because I think that sometimes it's also one of the preconceptions is that youth workers, it's a job, and it's job from 9 till 5. It's not. So that is something that when we do it. When you are involved in it and you live it with a passion and you love it, you could get, derailed, and you need to find a balance when to stop sometimes, that maybe at 12 hours, it's enough, because you want to be available for everybody that needs you. Also, like, we have some regular young people, they have me on Facebook and on Instagram. So, so sometimes they chat with me, because I want to be there if they need something, guidance or whatever, and, usually it's in the evenings or etc. So the day prolongs. So sometimes you need to find a balance, but still be available and open.
Yeah.
When I started in youth work, moved into the youth information center, and I had handed over a big pile of information that I had a feeling like, oh my god, I have to know everything. When somebody comes in and asks me, I will be able to wow, here's your answer, here, take this, it will help you. And I would say to my just starting youth worker that you don't need to know everything just on the shoot. It's okay to discover together with a young person, and maybe it's sometimes even more useful to show, okay, if you have this question, just let us see together. You don't need to know everything. You just need to know the good information sources and need to have the competence to differentiate between a trustful resource and maybe something that is not so qualitative.
I think that also gives a very good example to the young people that are communicating with you, that you're not a robot who knows everything and will dispense information, but you're a person just like them, and through that interaction they'll see how you find information, and that way they will see which are the good resources, for example, or how to look for an answer. And it's more of a teachable moment than you, like you described in the beginning, providing information as if you were automated.
I would also like to add the one thing that it was I picked up actually from university was to be also very humble. To not, I see it. I'm not saying I'm an older person, but I think age does that sometimes to you. You think yourself that, okay, I know more than that person, but I know some things. Therefore, I can figure it out. And then you meet some people, and they, at random moments, they might say the simplest things, and that makes so much sense to you, and you're humbled by whatever they were talking about. They offer the simplest solution, and it's that's the thing that I keep I keep saying to myself, listen to anyone and everyone, because they have like even the smallest thing to provide to you that will help you see all together what you're going to do, and it does keep you also a bit on balance, so you don't go like I'm getting approved, like, okay, my ideas are great, they're perfect, I'm doing good, but I also have to like calm down. I don't know everything. I am also in the sea, with the waves moving, and there are people there that know so much more, and that I should listen to them. I think that keeps me in balance personally.
Get frustrated as well because we don't know everything, and we also hit roadblocks, and we need to find solutions to problem, etc. So we are dealing with all the same problems that youth are dealing and our grandmothers are dealing. We're all the same humans with errors and not knowing everything. But I think that's the quality of humanity. When you are faced with an obstacle and solution, how you deal with it, and that sometimes I think it has the most value of a youth worker, when you have like young people with obstacles and something that they think they cannot overachieve and or overcome, and then you just give a little bit of guidance, not answers, not solutions, maybe just ask a question or two and they will figure it out. And then after that, when they figure it out, they have like that aha moment, that enlightenment is like, oh, I did it. I was like, oh, that is like the proudest moment you have as a youth worker, when you see, somebody like being a better version of themselves, and it's so great. And we have that as well. I have it as well, because I have like people that I look up to and mentors and stuff. And then when they help me, I'm like, yes, getting out of my comfort zone because I achieved something that I didn't know yesterday. It is a super gratifying feeling. And that is something that for me, it's my passion that I, as a youth worker, want to give to, young people for.
Actually,
sure.
in the chat, there is a similar sentiment from Nora, that it's important to know that the people you look up to also sometimes have no idea what's going on. That it's comforting. Like you said, we're dealing with the same issues that our grandma is dealing with and that the youngsters are dealing with. Sometimes it's okay when you just tell them, oh, I've been in the same situation, I don't know. It's a tough one. You're going to need some patience and like have faith in yourself, and it's going to be okay and everything, but it is good the moment of it's a human issue. I don't have all the answers and no one does. And
I know you know us, and you know my coworkers as well. But sorry, the others don't know them. They're super fun. We have a lot of mottos, a lot of mottos in our office or youth center, and one of them is "fake it till you make it," and that is very wise in this situation.
Yeah, that is a skill I think we pick up.
Yeah.
One of those many facets of youth work, one of the hats that you put on.
It's like curved. Yeah, the hat. I really like the analogy of the hats, and especially in youth work, and seeing it like that we do wear also hats different occasions when it's needed. And also what Nora was saying and what you were saying too, that I for some reason I remembered moments where I asked people of some authority or a figure of authority or someone that I expected to know or I was looking up to, and for some reason I don't know, I felt immediately the string being struck, that it felt so comforting. People saying, you know what, I don't know. Like, okay, yeah, that actually. I felt relieved at some points.
So our next stream is exclusively us saying, I don't know, to different questions. Yeah. I don't know.
What is youth work and why I don't know. But
exactly. We've been talking about it for like 45 minutes and probably the audience still doesn't know.
I bet if we all describe it, it's going to be different. We have different origins of how we got into it, different passions, and I think maybe that's one of the selling points of youth work. You don't know what's gonna happen, but it's gonna be a fun ride. You're gonna learn, and you have to love learning. If I would have to wrap, like for me, youth work is constant learning, from interpersonal skills to technical skills to digital skills, drawing skills, facilitation, accounting. You have to do the budget sometimes.
I was surprised no one mentioned like budgeting or like the bureaucracy overall when I was asking.
Bureaucracy was mentioned here. Yeah.
When I asked what's the thing that bugs you most, the biggest. Love bureaucracy.
The passion.
Not the bureaucracy, but like, Excel spreadsheets when 1 + 1 is 2 and everything is great and aligned. I love it. But it's sometimes, it's the easiest way because when it's simple, because it's in black and white and only one right answer, that's rare in youth work, that a right answer.
So you're enjoying the accounting.
Yep.
Right.
Sometimes.
When it's 1 + 1. Yeah.
Good. I had also a question that is a little bit more idealistic, of like, what is your dream for the future of youth work, or for the future for young people overall? What is the best case scenario? That in the beginning, when we were still talking before you guys joined us, they asked us what is the end goal of our organization, and we discussed that our end goal is world peace through domination.
Domination, yes.
Oh my god. Very contradictory.
Yeah.
Our youth center is also really involved into local politics. Whoever is on top, doesn't matter left, center, right, whatever, but we are very involved in strategic and youth policy making, etc., with one goal and one goal only, is to make sure that young people have a choice. Because if you don't have a choice, you're done. So with everything that we do, also in policy, we want to make sure that young people have choices. And if those are taken away, it's bad for for the future, for our culture, society, etc. So I think that is the one thing we're striving for, that young people have choices in everything they want to do, whatever.
Yeah,
So choices are the ones that matter.
Yeah.
For me, youth work is also very much about representing the interests of young people, also in the local, maybe not, yeah, also in the politics, but in the society as general, to work towards achieving or supporting and empowering young people. But for youth work also, I think Katja mentioned before that it's always for youth workers also a feeling of always kind of proving themselves, or kind of fighting for that youth worker would be like a profession, acknowledged profession, or it would have like an education to become a youth worker. What would be the basis of this? And also seeing the very big difference in between countries in Europe, how youth work is like situated, and youth workers, how they are situated or seen, like also maybe in comparison to education teachers, youth workers. This would be my dream, that this youth worker position would also like be empowered and strengthened. Yeah.
For sure. It's totally support. I think that is the one thing that youth work has in common throughout, countries. That is
Just
not valued.
Not recognized. Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Good one, Kadri.
We wrote a report in one project that is about non-formal education, and about like 11 different countries. We start off with, well, youth work is not officially recognized. Youth work, it's not officially. And it's a lot of that, and I think that definitely it should be something that changes, and it is more, less on the fringe somehow of the legal eye. Because I don't think in the eyes of the young people it matters what your position is, as much as that you have the opportunity to support. So
and also, remember the last times you I don't know, said a fun fact or like a data or something, and somebody asked you, "Oh, from where do you know that?" How many said from school? Nobody. Usually it's like TikTok,
Yeah.
those are informal, so so many people, get their knowledge from everywhere else but the school, later on in life. And I think that's why it's so important. We just don't get educated and just in schools, but for life, you get educated outside of the formal, system.
Now that you mentioned TikTok,
Okay.
we're talking about the Twitch. No, we're not announcing a TikTok account.
We're gonna post clips from this in our new TikTok account.
We're gonna do
For
the
sure.
dances. But no, it honestly, as you were saying, I've legit learned things from TikToks I've seen. I'm not shy to admit that I have made like psychological breakthroughs when someone said something on TikTok a bit differently. And like, that makes sense. I'm not saying it's a therapist, but even those small things you scroll out of, sometimes you would see that, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, I did learn something today among a lot of things that I've seen. And yeah, I am
Because
keeping that note.
learning opportunities are everywhere. We just don't recognize them. That's the difference, And if we don't recognize them, we think they don't exist, but they do, like everywhere. Like when I mentioned I'm a child of a teacher. So my mom is a professor of geography and didactics, right? So imagine me being like in primary school and we took like a road trip around Slovenia and we were driving somewhere and the mom was, oh, look at these trees. And she was then talking about, vegetables and biodiversity and the earth and, how the earth is combined and everything. So everywhere was a learning moment. Imagine the fun times of our road trips. So, we learn everywhere we go. I don't know. Remember, Ali, you taught me something like 10 days ago when we met. I was like, oh, you know how to do a reel, everywhere and every time.
Yeah, you just have
So,
to keep your antennas like open, like on for anything.
exactly. Wherever you
Mm.
go, you just need to be a sponge for
Yeah.
information.
To be honest, this whole the whole concept of youth work has offered me, now that when I see these things, I think, okay, how can I adopt this, or how can I modify or transform it in for youth workers and youth in general as well? How can we make this into a fun educational activity? And it's interesting. This is something I would like to put like as in what youth work has done for me, is that you see the simple things like, okay, we could make a project out of this. Seems like something that people could actually use even more from these small things for youth exchanges or even bigger projects like KA2s and the rest. Yeah, constantly just being bombarded with things,
With learning opportunities.
with learning opportunities, not things. TikToks and Instagrams. Yeah, but for sure.
Great.
All right.
We have kept you
Any
for
other
almost
questions?
an hour.
I love this. I have time. Any other questions?
We have still questions in the
Yeah.
file.
Yeah, but if
But also-
Kadri, if you can stay as well longer,
I could stay for another 15 minutes,
Great.
okay, that'd be
if
perfect.
it's okay for you.
We would love to actually. Yeah.
Hmm.
I was gonna actually just to take some points, because this is when people speak, they think I'm rude doing it, but I usually doodle or I write down quotes and I keep them in quotation marks. The one was about I don't know and how much of an impact it makes, not just from older people we look up to, but from people around us as well. I also see that sometimes when someone next to me says also I don't know, or when I say, I do feel that relief. And the importance of young people and having choices. And I think this is a very core element of now thinking of it in project terms. Most of the projects that we have written or I have seen or you've been part of is about providing young people with some form of choice. Either the ability to learn something more, or just the fact of something new being created. Would you like to? I mean, do you have something in mind as a concrete example? of
I wanted to add
enabling
something
choices.
actually
Yeah.
to adding choices and to have give them not just choices but voice, like to have
Yeah.
give them the opportunity to be heard, because that's often something that gets like dismissed a lot. The voices of young people, the opinions of young people get dismissed so easily. And I think it's a shame because they, like I said before, there's so many good ideas. There are so many active young people that have so many wonderful ideas of how to make things better. And so often their ideas and their voices get dismissed because they don't know yet. They don't know anything yet. Oh, they're so young. Have you even
Yeah.
finished your graduate? Like, have you even graduated or something? And it's
It's
But
disheartening.
it's just
Sorry.
bringing up the quality of life. If they have an idea, I think this is where youth work is important, and youth workers or organizations who are helping them, is that young kids come and they have an idea, and it's our job to support them to get that idea done in the local community, right? We're the ones that are butting heads then with bureaucracy and paperwork and policymakers, because he wants to like have a cross country. That
Mm.
was an idea of our kids. I think it was last November. They want to have like a cross ski, for running on snow stuff. They wanted to have it in Italia, and we didn't have it. So we pushed it, and now they have one in the city park. Stuff
Wow.
like that. It doesn't have to be groundbreaking and changing. It's just fun to have it, and they wanted it. There's just a bunch of snow you need to put on a pile, right? Hard. So I think that is where we become important so that we amplify that voice and make it
Mm.
happen.
But
Yeah.
this is also, I think, where Kadri was saying about empowering and representing interests. It is the interests of young people. If I knew, let's say, when I was young, that I had so many opportunities. For instance, to be in a storytelling game, or to be part of a digital youth worker, or to be part of a program which is teaching me or is going to teach me about active citizenship. I will feel empowered. I mean, we have people that are bright and they're very passionate at that very young age, and it's so much, let's say, potential that is not represented well, maybe, and is not represented at all in some cases. And it is the job of us as youth workers to say, here, are you interested in this? We have the means, and of course, if we don't, we will try to create it. And I think that's the beautiful aspect of what we do. I remember now, because the more I've been working as a youth worker and in Erasmus projects, I realized when I was young I did participate in some, and I never thought of it as like Erasmus. For me, I was in a model of United Nations and the European Youth Parliament, and in Erasmus Plus I went as a student in an exchange, first time like in high school, and for me those were the coolest experiences I could have in high school, and I considered myself lucky for it. And seeing now that there are so many more opportunities, I'm just happy to see that,
Yeah.
and empowering people to actually take action, and the representation of interests, representation in general, has I've seen that, and I'm happier for that. And this is something like as TFN, but also as youth workers, we strive to do, to make sure everyone is represented, either if they are in sports and they have some form of disabilities, that there is a way for them to be represented and gain what they want. That's one example, and many others that we are going to, of course, show. And this is part of what we're doing. We're trying to show as many people as we can, that, hey, if you like something, we can do it. We'll try to do it. If it doesn't exist, we'll create it. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you need some support from youth workers, or like to set the framework for young people's voices to be heard. Just today, I read the results from a youth survey that my colleagues had run here in our local community, and there were really interesting answers. Some were quite fun, but also really like things that would be beneficial for also not only for young people, but for the whole community. So they were talking about things that they miss or that have maybe uh, they don't have access to, and they should be improved. And the youth workers also organized the meeting with the mayor of the city, so that the survey and the results from all the, I think there were 200 or something like this participants, that they will, for the mayor, it also has a different kind of value to hear, okay, these are really not only one, two young people that mean it like this, or it's a bigger part of the community. And as a mayor, she should be there for the whole community, also including the young people who really pointed out some very valuable points.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Youth work as advocacy, basically.
Is this another proposal? And this is also something I really like about this kind of discussion. Just I think I'm getting to the habit of just voicing the thoughts are coming to my head. But I would like to. I think no, I'm saying it in the form that
We know you.
it should be said, because it's a good thing that we are open enough to discuss these things, like not just even for the four of us, and showing it to other people that this is where initiatives start in these kind of discussions, and learning from what, let's say, Kadri is doing in Virgil, and learning from what you're doing, and potentially also involving others in this process. As we're saying, we are constantly learning, and this is a process of making it better.
Yeah.
But also, I think it's important to say that it's not always, rainbows and unicorns. You know, we get so many ideas from young people what they want to do. It's not like we can make everything happen, right? We all hit roadblocks and, like I said, paperwork, bureaucracy, and stuff like that, and that is disappointing for us and for the young kids as well. So I think we also need to acknowledge, like, the not so positive side of youth work, because we also fail in making those ideas happen, those initiatives in reality. We fail, and we try to do as little as possible to fail, of course, but it also happens. That is something that we need to also voice out, that not everything is great and it's working out, but the majority is, which is good.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
you're definitely right. And sometimes we get, especially when we get into an idea and into the conversation of it, and we get inspired, and we sometimes even over exaggerate how much something is needed. And then when you hit the wall afterwards of like no interest, it's like, okay, I thought there was a big audience for this.
Yeah.
The only thing that was missing for me from the descriptions of youth work, like as giving choices, giving a voice, and advocacy, and everything, one thing that it really means a lot to me is the personal connection, the youth worker as a safe harbor, like
Yes.
like how Katya mentioned that like the youngsters from the youth center contacting you and asking for advice.
Or Kadri is a mentor.
Yeah. We also with Nora, who is our moderator in the chat, we used to hold youth groups. And in the youth group, it was that's exactly how it felt like. We were the safe harbor. We could talk about things that kind of like intimidated the participants in some other way, or like they told us, we don't talk about this anywhere else. We don't talk about healthy relationships anywhere else, or like how to be good friends, or how do I resolve conflict, and that sort of thing. It's not something that gets talked about in school, or a lot of them don't talk about this with their parents or some kind of an authority figure, but instead they kind of like nonchalantly talk about it with friends, but it's a touchy subject and everything. And the youth worker as a safe harbor, as someone to talk to about these things that are difficult, I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Not being judgmental, that is so very important to whoever you're working with, youth or whatever. It doesn't have to be youth, like anybody in your life. When you are working them, talking to them, just not be judgmental to their approach. And I think sometimes that is very helpful for young people, because we are like the third person, right? It's safe to talk with us because, it's something that they discuss with us and we won't share it. And that's what, like you said, it's a good one. Safe harbor. I love that one.
Safe harbor.
Yeah.
Ali making notes for the next project. Also, like you
Hard.
talked before, I thought you are like the perfect writer. You're having the project writer eye on all the time.
This is just what I'm doodling. It's just NFE and in the middle, I don't know. I don't know.
Yes.
It's a thing. It's the graphic recording. I've seen some amazing things that people can do. I've been dreaming of that. I could do it, but I've tried to learn, but it's really difficult. I don't know if you have seen it. It's really nice.
The people drawing while the conference is going on or something. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Have you seen it?
No.
I was once at a conference as a participant, and it was just.
He's doing it.
Yeah, you're doing it. You don't even know about other people doing it, but they paint like a big mind map while the conference is going on with all the subjects covered, with all the.
Maybe actually this is my notebook where every project I thought of when we wrote got approved. So this is
Your lucky notebook.
the lucky notebook. It's covered with Kaufland stickers. They're not a sponsor here.
But if they want.
But if they want to. And it is, I'm trying to find now a doodle thinking about that. I remember this one was during Gamify. So maybe I can show it like this. I feel like a child showing their drawings.
We'll put it on the fridge.
I'll do the same with pasta. So I remember...
The audience probably is aware that we know each other for quite a while, right?
Yeah.
that is why we with them and know all the background stories, etc.
Yeah. No, but we were in one of those meetings, and I just remember that this is a way for me to kind of put things together, because it's a lot of bombardment. Sometimes I think the things around me like stimulate my mind a bit too much, to the point which is not good. I just get flustered. Talking about, do you have a habit of when you are in a creative process or some kind of like brainstorming that you doodle, or a thought pattern you use? This is a random question.
I'm very organized. Like if it comes to like projects and we need to write down like activities or timelines or whatever. Firstly, I kick everybody out of the office. I need to be alone.
Okay.
Take off my shoes, whatever I'm wearing, and I have like the big, I don't know how you call it, like a big piece of paper, the biggest I can find, colorful pens, and I sit on the floor, and that is it. And then I just comes to me whatever, because I love colors, and I like to, like you said, draw, or like a map something out, mind mapping or whatever. But I need to be quiet and nobody around, and just in my thought process and my hamster wheel rolling.
The hamster on full speed. The hamster is running and running.
Yeah, well, sometimes if I'm in the process, in the mood, okay. But then sometimes when I have a blockage, that is it. I need to go home. I need to do something else and not force it. I think that is something I've learned like the past 2 years, not to force the solution. Sometimes you actually need to stop and take a step back and just let it wander a little bit. And sometimes then it comes and it's like, all of a sudden, the solution or something comes up. So sometimes you don't need to force anything. So it depends.
No, stepping away sometimes is the best solution. I've also recently found that out. Like sometimes I just try and nothing is working out, and I switch tasks, and the other task is much better, and now I can do something. And when you come back to this problem like the next day or in 4 hours and whatever, it's a new perspective. It's much better.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah. How about you, Kadri? Do you have a brainstorming process and mental block
I so recognized myself in Katja for the first part, but now I also thought it's about the balance, I think, because when I'm writing something, like need to write out the concept or answer the various questions there are in the application formats, I really need to have like a calm and quiet, and I can like concentrate on what I'm doing, because I'm working in a an office where we have
Okay.
to talk, and there's always some kind of talk going on. But also,
Sorry.
I know from previous workplaces that I'm also not the person who would do this for a long time just to work on my own in a computer. I need this kind of interaction also with other people to change ideas and to then kind of to concentrate and get it on all on paper is like the final phase.
Yeah. We have multiplied in Google Meet for some reason. But
I have it's called mitosis. It's when we when we break it into two versions.
We should need in youth work. Sometimes we to multiple people.
You see, I'll get the same weights for two people.
Yeah.
No, for me, I can actually relate to the. Okay, I left the meeting. I can relate to the part where Katri is drawing, and Katri, when you were saying drawing in many colors, I have a pack with colorful pens that I take around with me. I don't understand that. For me, the kicking everyone out, I can understand it sometimes. I can relate to that. That I do need the complete silence, but in most cases, I would actually be in a place full of people. The chatting or loud music and other things kind of quiets my head for some reason. And that's how I can start like writing down things and on. It's a weird process, I think. It's very nice. It's different for everyone.
we all write things down, digital or not. I mean, here the four of us. But I also, if I don't have it on paper, sometimes even before I do an Excel sheet, I first write it out on paper and then I input it in Excel. And sometimes I can't even see my own logic behind it. But if I don't do it on paper, it's more difficult for me to do it on the computer, or to imagine it, or to actually have a final result.
I'm also I'm a post-it girl, like all around computer and desktop, like they're everywhere.
I passed my math exams. I remember I had like post-its with all formulas around my desk. I think I have a picture of it with like 25 post-its just to keep looking at it.
I can do you one better. When I was graduating from high school, we have an exam in literature and Bulgarian language. But for literature part, we had to know for like 10 authors their work, their biography, and everything, and we should be able to like recite it basically and write it down. So I made these posters, like Katya, like what you're saying with the big papers. I made a poster for each of these authors, and I put them on my bedroom wall. So before bed, and I in 12th grade would go and stare at one of the authors for 5 minutes, read up, and then go to bed every night.
Speaking of topic, you want a learning moment right now?
Yes.
Okay, that is connected to your learning style. You know, everybody has a different learning style depending what you want are, like visual, hearing, auditory, kinetic, you know, depending on how you receive best information. So usually the majority of people are combined, so hearing and visual. So that's why post-its and, you know, any kind of posters or drawings help, because it's a process how you contain and absorb information. Just FYI.
No, honestly, I'm very into this, and this helped me out a lot because I found out about my learning style when I started working already after university. And then a lot of things fit into my head better. We could maybe even make a whole stream about this and the learning styles and how to better learn.
Yeah,
for yours.
that also. But for me, I remember I gave the test on like what would be the best tactile. For me, I always thought tactile would be important because I'm that kind of annoying person who goes to a museum and has to touch everything. Not because I can understand it better, not because I want to, but I have to have a feeling with it, and a visual person. But yeah, and then for some reason the test, sometime I did it, I think 3 times, and it kind of mixed me up. But I was thinking, now that you were saying different learning abilities, I trying to imagine how people with some form of disability, either auditory or visual impairment, how does that impact their learning approach?
It depends when their disability was. If it's a disability that they were born into, it's the same as you and I, because they learn a different, their normal learning style is how they got it, because it doesn't matter the disability because it was born into it. But if they have a disability throughout the lifetime, right, as a part of an injury, etc., they reshift and refocus their learning style to something else. It's quite often they have to enhance other sensory how you call it? See English words now. You know what?
Yeah, and one of the best stories was with when I was volunteering in school for the blind, and I met people that they were blind since they were a child, like since birth, and some that had it through trauma, and it was really interesting seeing how they would learn, because they would be very into everything. So I remember playing sports with because you have experience with people with like visual impairment. The ball they play with they play football. The people that are visually impaired, the one with the bells inside. I don't remember the name of the sport.
Yes.
But I remember there's a ball essentially and has a lot of bells inside.
Goal ball.
Yeah.
It's goal ball.
Yeah. And I remember playing with them, and I remember that I never had to be like careful or anything. I would like shoot the ball and they would know immediately where it is, and it was amazing how to do that. I remember playing chess, and I used to be part of a chess club, so I thought that was okay and everything. And I remember playing this chess piece, and this person would just, with one swipe of their hand, just touch the chess piece and make the move immediately. It took time. I took much more time than it needed for someone, and it was amazing to see how they had overcome this and how it was inclusive. And music.
Yeah, and the other thing is that you can be changing learning styles throughout your life, by the way. Because you said you took it 3 times in different times and it was different results.
It was different.
It is possible, like with some shifts, especially if you are mixed. There are people who have a little bit of everything. So they lean sometimes more on the auditory, sometimes they lean more on the visual. So this could change with time if you are more on the mixed side, which I think you are.
Yeah, and we're learning from it. And I think most of the products we do also is like we will try to take that into consideration too. What kind of learners the target audience is. As you were saying, Katya, you're developing products specifically for those needs, and we also, I think, in all our process of creation, we try to make it inclusive for anyone that learns like this. Just as an example, I think we did one in a project that we are actually all together in storytelling. That storytelling for youth work. The cards, the text on the cards was made for a font.
The cards that are for a board game.
For a board game, thank you.
Yeah.
See, if I was doodling, I would have been able to say the text on the cards that for the board game were all on a font that was easier for people with dyslexia to learn. So it is part of learning that there is that kind of font, or that you have to publish something in Braille, for instance.
Another piece of interesting fact from the chat, Nora said that years ago she had a pencil with all kinds of color graphite in one.
So, the one that you could like squeeze down and change, right?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that better or worse for brainstorming if you have it all in one space?
Bettina, actually from a community, Kadri's coworker, she showed me a pencil that I think it was that had like at the tip of the pencil it had all the 3-4 colors.
Of those. Yeah, amazing.
So
things.
depending on how you would write, you would get a rainbow effect.
We're just here excited about writing down on paper in this Twitch stream.
We're talking.
old school.
Kadri has a wonderful tool. I was very impressed when we went to Austria. She has a suitcase that is so well organized, the facilitation suitcase with all the tools. It was really amazing. I really liked it. I want one too.
Yeah. That's a literal tool, like in your arsenal you could have. That was amazing.
Do you have any questions? I'm super into this.
I don't see any other questions in the chat. But if you have some questions.
I have some questions, like topics to put, but I think Kadri would.
Need to go soon.
Okay, so maybe I'll say bye to Kadri and we can continue with Katya, of course.
I will represent Kadri. I will.
Okay.
Katya can make also different impersonations, different voices. She's got it.
Yeah.
So I can join after the community.
Yeah, I'll speak in Austrian.
Ooh. I will check it afterwards. Maybe the video is published in the Twitch communication somewhere, so I can see what Katya did for Austrian language.
We'll let you know for sure.
And representing me. But it was really fun, guys. I had a very nice discussion, and I think.
Yeah, it was really.
Waiting forward to your next streams.
Yep. Our next stream is a surprise now for everyone, actually, for the audience and for yourselves as well. Which you will be the audience, hopefully, in the next one is on Valentine's Day.
Ooh.
We have a Valentine's Day.
Does it have a romantic theme for you?
Well, we work a lot
Healthy
on
relationships.
healthy relationships. Yes, exactly. No joke, because we work on a lot of topics related to healthy relationships, prevention of violence, and I mean, it's an important thing.
Yeah, and as we are almost 2 hours into this live stream, by the way, and these wonderful people that have been with us, and including yourselves, we want to make a Valentine's edition stream, and the topic actually is called "No One Is Alone." So people who happen to be online and have nothing better to do on Valentine's Day, or just want to learn something more about relationships, healthy relationships, and how to build them. We'll have 2 guest speakers as well that are experts on that topic, and so Monday, 8 o'clock, we'll announce it for sure, and then on Thursday again, hopefully, but we'll announce it as well. Thank you, Kadri, for coming, and
very nice.
It was really a pleasure to have you on the first stream.
Yes, we have a thank you also from the chat to you for the interview.
For the interview. And
Thank
for accepting
you
the questions from the audience as well.
Of course. Very nice. Okay. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye,
Bye,
Katya.
Katya.
Thank you. So if the audience has any more questions for Katya can do voices. I'm just going to say Katya makes amazing stories. And what else, Katya? Another fun fact for you in the 3.
Well, you know me. Maybe you can tell a fun fact about me.
Katya is a very adventurous traveler.
True.
And is not afraid of driving to places.
So if anyone has any questions on travels or
Road safety in Europe.
you can ask, of course, if there's something that like the audience would like to ask regarding travels, or maybe that they didn't know getting into youth work also has a lot of traveling in it. I mean, it's part of broadening our horizons as well. One question. Oh, okay, we have a question already. Your favorite food that you tried as a tourist in one of your travels?
A favorite? I know a memorable one, but it's not good. It's a memorable one. It's in Palermo, Italy.
Mm-hmm.
They have snails, right? So like when it rains, like the small snails in shells come out, and they pick those snails, and you have 2 versions. Either they cook it in a white wine reduction, or they cook it in tomato sauce. So I did try those. Those are memorable. So snails are something I have tried.
Memorable, but not good.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be my first choice, you know.
I was almost expecting for you to say, like, they have 2 options. It's either cooked or raw. And, like, I ate some raw snails. And I was.
Yeah. But other than that, I'm a pretty good eater. I love to eat. I'm not complaining. It's like everything is good because if you're eating it in that country and it's their food, it's the best. You know, don't try to replicate and do it at home because you will ruin the memory. It's not the same. You know, you're not everybody's Gordon Ramsay, so don't even try to replicate like authentic cuisine from a country's home.
Actually, when I travel regarding culinary, let's say travels, when I travel to some other country, and especially if it happens to be somewhere very different from where I'm from, one of my favorite things is to buy spices from them, because that's one small way of getting closer to the taste when you go on home. I agree. When you try to replicate it at home, it's not the same. But the spices sometimes with it that stand out. Like I always go for that.
Cannot even get right. So that is so very different for
And
sure.
the alcohol, of course.
Yeah, alcohol too. It is like 9 o'clock. It's the alcohol. Too.
No, joking. I mean,
No, not. But really, they're like liquor, the schnapps that actually now Kadri it was just left. In Virgil, we were told that there's this schnapps from
pine
radish.
cones.
No, radish.
Okay.
Schnapps, which apparently it varies from like 12 euros to 1,200 euros.
But it has to have 12 in the beginning, otherwise they don't. So it's 12,
Don't quote me.
120, or 1,200.
Don't quote me on this, but it could be very expensive. And and apparently it stinks. Like as a smell, it's very pungent, but it's a delicacy. Potato pancakes from Latvia.
Yes. In Latvia, they have these potato
Potato.
potato pancakes that are surprisingly delicious. And they are, I thought they would be more salty, but they also serve them with jam. Even though they're made from potatoes, they're really good.
I had one as a task. I think now the concept was a Q and T, so we named it QT. One of the tasks was if you had to write a book, for the topic was youth work. It could be a literature book. It could be science fiction, like a story. Kind of. Where would the book start in the timeline? Let's say.
I like reverse. It makes sense. I like reverse things. So I would start at the end.
Really? Okay.
You know, this is the outcome. Let me tell you how we got there.
Okay.
Because I think the journey and the process, it's so very important to making it. It would be a combination of probably drama and comedy. It best describes youth work. You know, you have both in every hour of the day. Drama and a little bit comedy, and you never know when one thing ends and the other one begins. I think it would be like in now in like our times, like a modern novel or how you call it. What else? I wouldn't say I wouldn't write it in my voice, like a youth worker's voice, but I would write it in the person of the end user, how he got there where he got.
The end user being a young person.
Yeah. Why is he there? Who helped him got there, etc. Something like that. So, like the inspiration or motivational story. I think that's
Yeah. When you said about the time.
the best things ever.
Sorry?
Like heartfelt, inspirational stories, they make the most money. So that would be a plus.
Yeah, it makes financial sense too. Yeah. You're really well read from what you've told me.
From what I've told you, yes.
Yeah. You've mentioned that you read books.
I am indeed not only literate but also read books.
You read
sometimes.
books, and like you read all types. Have you stumbled upon anything like this or something?
No, not exactly.
Mm.
But when Katya mentioned the time that it would be now, I was also thinking that I can't imagine writing a book about, for example, youth work before COVID, because would it be useful at all? And because youth work is such a dynamic field and everything changes all the time, you don't need a story about the before times or about 10 years ago how it was or before technology was so prevalent. For sure, there are some lessons that can be taken from that, but I think I would also go for the now because it's, yeah, like we were talking about before, every month there's something completely new that we have to learn. Every year the technology we're using is changed and switched. And with the technology, a lot of other things go on.
If it was a movie, would it be different?
If it was a movie, you would be directing it. Where would you put it?
No, see, I'm not good at answering these questions. I'm good at coming up with with the questions. This is why you pay me. Not to answer, to think about it. I'm kidding. I don't know. I can't. I'm not. I don't have that much experience like Katya does or like you do. I'm still figuring out. I'm still figuring. No, I mean like experience like, in many projects, not just in time, but like different types of projects. The ones that I worked with are just like Erasmus for the moment, for the time being. And I haven't been around. I've been only to like 2 youth exchanges. One I facilitated and one I participated. So I'm still learning from that. But you have quite some experience, like in general with it. How would you in a movie?
I don't know. I don't know if in movies the inspirational, motivational thing will be more money or more of a dramatic story.
Okay. A drama story for youth work.
Or like a Mamma Mia movie, right?
A musical. Yeah.
Yeah, musical. That would be an option, right? Erasmus had its own song. And then, I don't know, youth exchanges had their own song.
Isn't that Eurovision? Just a bunch of young people, mostly young people coming.
Basically. If it's in the form of a musical, I would make it so that the young people kind of converge and then separate many times. Because I think that's a lot of youth work too, seeing how they work together in a team and then seeing them separately. And
Individually. Yeah, that would be a good one. Yeah, individually. And they like short stories
yeah.
in separate scenes. That would be cool.
Wait,
we're
so
making
can
a
you say it again? Can you say it again? I'm not writing it down. I'm trying to conceptualize it.
He's writing the script as we speak.
No, it sounded interesting. That's why. How did you both say that? It would be a movie that each of them would be separate.
No, each of to see their individual stories for the characters. For example, if there's a school setting or a youth exchange setting or whatever, to see their individual stories and also to see how they converge and they come together and then they go away and they live there. Different stories changed by each other.
But each of these people will be youth workers, right? Or just
No,
young people? Young people.
Yeah.
So where's the youth worker in this?
Well,
Is there?
facilitating.
Facilitate when they come together as a group, either break out in a song or a flash mob, and then the youth worker, facilitates the flash mob. The logistic and the music and it's stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the cheerleader behind the flash mob is doing great.
Yeah.
Well,
Actually, about Encanto, if I can go on a short tangent.
Of course.
The main character of Encanto is one of the characters of a family that all of them have magical gifts, and she's the only
Spoiler
one who
alert,
doesn't.
by the way.
This is the first 5 minutes of the movie. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, just saying.
But in the song that is the most popular, if someone has not seen Encanto, I'm sorry for the small spoiler, but in the most popular song, We Don't Talk About Bruno, all the characters sing a different part.
Mm-hmm.
And they do converge in one part. They all sing kind of over each other and everything. If you listen carefully, you can hear every one of them sing their own thing. But if you listen overall, it's just a cacophony. And the main character is kind of like the moderator, the facilitator of this thing. She's the one going around and asking people. She's the one reaching everyone's stories and putting them together in order to find out, Bruno and everything. But she's exactly like how I imagine a facilitator being. Going out, reaching out, and finding the stories from different people and putting them all together so that they all work to make one thing.
I say I like that the blend. One of our followers and partners, Mihai, which we'll be referring to I'm pretty sure throughout the streams and throughout our work, is that kind of person that has a lot of sources. And I think what you're describing, I think that he's like that in a person type, and it's interesting. I was just thinking of it like that because that could be a cool video that it's not difficult to prepare, and we have some capacity in some of the projects with amateur videographers, as for youth work, which is not that.
This is already an idea for like a youth exchange, like for sure.
Or just a video.
Yeah.
I sometimes feel like I have to be just putting the parenthesis that not everything has to be immediately a project.
No, not a project, but not as a maybe as youth exchange, but as a dissemination video, a short video for, let's say, to show off what's youth work. And since we are usually partners from like individual countries, we could get it from different places. Just as an idea. Because it's pretty cool.
Yeah. The chat described what we were talking about, like Sense8, which I haven't seen.
Have you seen it, Katya, the series Sense8?
No.
So, I'm sorry, Dimitar, we're all uneducated. But Sense8 with Glee. Yeah. However Sense8 is, I agree with the Glee part.
No.
Yeah, I've heard actually pretty nice things about Sense8. Like I've been it's been suggested to me by a lot of people to watch.
Oh, that's a movie or a TV show? What's that?
It's a TV show, from what I know.
Oh. No.
Yeah.
We're sorry.
I don't know.
We don't know. We go back to the I don't know part.
Yeah,
we haven't seen that. I don't know how it relates, but yeah.
I'm from the era of Beverly Hills, so sorry. I'm an old person.
No, it's a show. It's a show. So yeah, I don't know about a youth exchange, to be honest, but I'm just thinking about it. Yeah.
That's it.
I think we're gonna close up soon, to be honest. We're keeping our audience, the loyal audience, here with us for 2 hours and 8 minutes so far.
So hope we didn't bore you. And again, congratulations to. It's such an amazing, to seeing you as friends grow and starting something new, and you're an inspiration for us as well. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for being part of it, honestly.
Thank you, and being part of the launch. It's an important task.
It is. And regarding Sense8, our audience is saying it's pretty damn good, but they cancel it after a second season.
But with a decent finale.
Which, to be honest, it is what counts. Right.
It's how you want to go out, yes, for sure.
Another comment is thank you, Katya. Good luck with the book. So we're waiting for the motivational moneymaker. Because we can use that money afterwards for youth work.
So, or skiing.
Or skiing.
And my motivation to you is don't just watch other people's IG stories. Go out and make your own.
Aw, that's nice.
Very motivational.
It is.
You can start the book with that. If you want.
Some work, right? That's not going to bring in millions.
Start making. It sounds like you're working for Instagram. Start making your stories. No, but the audience also agrees with it. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Very sweet. Thank you, Katya. We'll definitely have you over again if you would like to at some other future stream, so we can talk about one of our many collaborations, since we are working together on. I feel like we work together on all of the projects, and then I'm disappointed every time we don't. So
yeah.
That is true. You're also one of my first partners that I met. So we've been together for 5 years, looking like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
sure.
me too.
Even
Yeah.
before, Tiffany, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And have a
Lots of thanks you.
Have a good night.
Bye, and to everybody I don't see.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye too. Bye.
Okay, so it's just us again.
Yeah.
Awesome first episode, says Nora. Thank you, Nora.
Thank you, Nora, and awesome moderation. I saw immediately at some point someone did join in and like was promoting something, and
There wasn't even a second.
I was reading the line, and as I was reading, I was like, okay, this probably just banned like perfect.
Wonderful, merciless.
Yeah, that green sword, well deserved, the Excalibur. This was a really nice like first episode. I really like the fact that we had a contribution from the audience that is watching, and to be honest, we did we prepared and we had sent them some main topics of what would be expected to be discussed. But I'm actually glad that we chose this approach. Was even better.
It was a lot of fun. And on Monday, we're also going to be talking about healthy relationships, about love and all of its sides, not only the romantic love. So it's going to be exciting to also have a discussion with also some experts on healthy relationships.
And like really like experts on this. I'm pleasantly surprised that they were going through their. We chose people that we have worked with for sure. But thank you, Janica. We had we choose people that we have worked with and we have some experience. Yeah, not just happy relationships, Ellie, but also yeah, but all kinds of relationships and like how to and how to make them better, or what to look out for, or what works and what doesn't, because in the end it's not what in the end there's so many things, but at least it goes back to what I think Katya was mentioning, of giving choices, at least knowing what you should look out for and then making the choice, right? Being educated on that, knowing that no one's alone, and that's kind of how we are getting to the topic of it, that no one is alone, and even if you're with someone, you can come and join with your partner or not and watch. They're really good people that are going to be speaking to us, and I feel really lucky that they're sacrificing their Valentine's Day, their alcohol day, to be with us, and in order not to sacrifice actually alcohol on the alcohol day, we'll be also drinking a glass of wine, right?
Yeah.
You can
It
expect
is in Bulgaria. It's also a holiday that celebrates wine, so it's almost mandatory for us to be drinking while we talk about healthy relationships.
And the more we have people watching and the more we have people talking to us, and you know how we can go from topic to topic, the more we drink and the more we celebrate.
6 hours into the stream, we're like, okay, we've drank all the wine.
We just have random people speaking to us. No, but this was kind of this is actually the kind of the format I was expecting. Chaotic but educational and fun. Actually, I had a lot of fun. Yeah.
Thank you so much to the audience, and when you were writing, really, really nice.
Yeah,
to
it
see
was
you
really
guys
nice.
and to do the interact.
Yeah, and we'll get better at this. I mean, definitely. So be prepared for maybe a completely different setup, maybe the same. We don't know. But definitely a space that is inclusive, a space of mutual respect, and a space where we can talk about anything and actually have fun about it. That's pretty much it.
That's the end goal. This is the overarching goal.
Yeah, in the end, it's just about talking about issues that we face and that we go through, because we all do.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't know.
And sometimes we don't know.
This is the conclusion for me for today. Sometimes, and it's okay.
So, just to really, really wrap up, I'm not going to open these topics again. I don't know is something that is completely validated for you to say, no matter how old you are or who's looking up to you or down to you or anything. I don't know is it's okay, and I am saying it to myself too. I have to say it more often because I know, but no, sometimes I don't know. I don't know. Empowering people around us and young people, and choices, and how important there is to know that they are choices. You don't have to take them in the end. No one's forcing you, but knowing that they are and knowing what you can get is sometimes just enough. So yeah, I'm keeping that from today, and always learning.
Yeah.
If you keep on, I can keep on going, to be honest.
Like Nora saying in the chat, don't forget to rest.
Yeah, don't forget to rest.
So to everyone in the chat, thank you for hanging out with us.
Yep.
For the learning opportunity that we had together.
Yeah.
Yes, a reflection at the end. This is actually, I wanted to mention, this is part of non-formal education as I know it, as we know it. At the end of a learning opportunity, we have a small time for reflection, looking back and seeing did we learn something? Did we think about something new? And I think that's pretty important, at least for me. So thank you for the wrap up and the conclusion and the summary.
Yeah, because to be honest, this is could be like some kind of therapy, And what better therapy than you can have on your living room on Monday with alcohol? And yeah, thank you really all for joining and following, and really stay tuned for the next things, because we have nothing but time to give you and time to receive from you. So
great. See you Monday. On
See you on Monday.
Valentine's/alcohol day.
Yep. No one's alone. We're gonna be here with you, so don't be stressed about it. It's something I'm gonna say as a very, very last good night remark. Good night, Nora. Good night, Yannick. We could do this. Wait until everyone leaves. I'm not. We're gonna end the stream. Thank you, and hopefully see you on Monday. Have a good one, have a nice one, have a great one, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.